Good afternoon. I'm very pleased to welcome our special guest of today. And one of the reasons why I'm so pleased that 10 years ago, when there was a visit of a Prime Minister of Iceland to Ukraine, I had an opportunity to serve as his personal interpreter. And now I'm very pleased that we have the Foreign Minister of Iceland in Ukraine. And so I would like to welcome Mr. Gunnar Bragi Sveinsson. We are very pleased that he has found time to join us on Saturday and actually support Ukraine during this very difficult and tumultuous times for Ukraine. So without much further ado, I would like to pass the floor to the Minister. The floor is yours, Excellency.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and I'm glad to see you all here today. Actually, this is my second visit to Kyiv. I was here last December on an OSCE meeting. And I must say, unfortunately, almost everything has happened what we wished then not to happen. My main message with this visit is to show support to the Ukrainian people, to show that even though Iceland is not among the biggest nations in the world, we are a voice. And we like to use this voice to tell the world, to tell well, we can tell Russia this time that we are not very much in favor of what they are doing. Over the past weeks, we have made it clear where we stand, and we stand behind the people of Ukraine. And we have been part of all I think I can say, but we have at least said that we support all of the sanctions that have been put forward today regarding Russia because of what is happening in Crimea. But more important, we like also to show and tell you all that we support the way forward. We support that the Ukrainian government is doing today, trying to rebuild a society, trying to rebuild the economy which is very important. Also, I'd like to say to you all, in a situation like this, it is very important that everyone respect the fact that we are different. We have different people in Ukraine. And the new government and the government in the future must respect human rights, must respect all minorities. Because if we are going to have a peaceful future in Ukraine, like everyone wishes to have, we must bear all that in mind. I also know that it is a heavy task in front of you all in Ukraine. But if you stick together, if you have a consensus by the people of Ukraine, you will manage, you will have a bright future. I believe that. We in the international community must be proud and stand behind you, and I'm sure we will do that. I hope you will manage to get an agreement and the program with the IMF and with the European Union. In my mind, that is important because of the situation in Ukraine. So I can take some questions if you like to, but that was the main message I was going to bring here today.
Yeah, thank you. Please raise your hand and introduce yourself. Представтеся, будь ласка, задавайте питання. Well, if there are no questions, I have a question for you, Mr. Minister. As Iceland is a very special position. It is not part of the EU, but it is part of NATO. And there are, of course, some internal debates, and which you have within your own country. Nevertheless, the current issue, which we have, the crisis in Ukraine, many individual governments, apart from the financial bailout that Ukraine is getting from the EU and other international institutions, there are some also governments which are pledging certain funds for helping Ukraine with the reforms, etc. I wonder if there are any plans or there is any discussion about this in Iceland.
Well, there is a discussion, of course, what we can do. We are recovering from a financial disaster, but we think we can support the rebuild of the Ukrainian economy, the Ukrainian society, if not with some funds, with some stories, with what we have learned from it, with some expertise, hopefully. But at least we will be very strong behind everything that can support you. Even though we are not part of the European Union, as you mentioned, but we have been supporting what they have been offering you, also what the US has been doing. But it is very important that the program that they will offer Ukraine will will be made for Ukraine, not a program that comes somewhere else from, because every country is different from another. But Iceland will certainly do what we can to help to rebuild the Ukraine.
Also, your trade relations with Russia, apparently it's much higher than it is with Ukraine. And you mentioned that you support the sanctions on Russia. But you're a small country. Don't you think it's going to hurt your interests more than it's going to hurt Russia?
Well, Russia is 6th or 7th of our exporters. We export lots of fish and meat to Russia. They are important for us, of course. But peace and stability in Europe and the world is also very important. And in this case, we think that is more important than our own interests. I sincerely hope that Russia will listen to the international community, what we are saying. If they do that, if we can sit down and talk about the future, have a dialogue, I'm not so worried about those, what they will do. But of course, it is a delicate question. It is a question for Icelandic economy, of course. But the big picture is much more important than this. Because of that, we did not hesitate to underline and be a part of these sanctions.
My question is from Phoenix TV. I would like to ask you, now we're discussing a lot of options with UN as well, and might be the General Assembly of UN next week or after next week, and we're discussing, for example, such option like a demilitarization of Crimea, and to pull out as Ukrainian troops and the Russian troops as well. And the one option, and another option is like to create like international body for the so multilateral negotiation between Ukraine and Russia to bring Russia actually to the table, negotiation table. What opinion you have in UN, for example, for this option? Do you support the demilitarization option, or how do you see how to bring Russia to negotiation with Ukraine?
Well, we have been supporting what the UN has been trying to do, what the nations like US try to do in the Security Council. And if we can find a way to get Russia and to get them at the table to sit down with us, we will of course support every good idea there. We have made it clear to Russia and to Russia, I have said that to the ambassador in Iceland and wherever I can, they must withdraw to their bases and they must sit down and we must talk about the future of Ukraine. I have also said to them we have to have a free and free elections in Ukraine where no one is trying to manipulate things, and we will support that, and we will keep on sending those messages to them. But when it comes to UN, we of course will support everything that can calm down things in Crimea.
Greetings, I'm Michael Hammerschlag, Yahoo. Mr. Iceland is in a real unique position or a strategic position in the exit of Russian ships from Murmansk. And I don't know, you might not know this, or this might not be your field, but I was wondering if you noticed any increase in Russian military activity connected with a turn America into a smoking wasteland comment by Kiselyov. And I actually had a proposal, an idea to try to get Turkey to close the Bosphorus to Russian warships to basically make their warm water fleet useless. And apparently Turkey does have absolute control over the Bosphorus, and it was closed during all of World War II to Nazi ships. And it's 100 kilometers long, and it's pretty much impregnable. And it would negate a lot of what Russia was maybe trying to do in taking over the Crimea. I was wondering what your thoughts on that.
Well, we have not seen any more traffic on sea or air around Iceland from Russia. closing down the Bosporus Strait is one option, of course, but that is in hand of the Turkish government, as far as I know. But everything we do must be very thought. We have to think it all over. We have to be very positive that we are doing the right thing. Some people say that we should have done more by sanctions to Russia. I think we are doing it in the right way. We are taking it step by step. But regarding Iceland, I must say that we have had a very good relations with Russia for 70 years. And last year we had the 70 years anniversary. We, of course, have had some ups and downs in our relations with them. But today, in the year 2014, what we see now is not a thing we can accept.
Wade?
Yes, from the British Ukrainian Chamber of Commerce. Would you support a referral to the International Court of Justice for an advisory opinion on the legality or illegality of the Russian occupation of Crimea? Presently, everyone assumes and generally understood that it's illegal. Russia maintains otherwise. The International Court of Justice is the supreme authoritative body in the world for judgments on international law, perhaps, and the General Assembly can refer questions to them, and it doesn't get blocked by the Russian veto in the Security Council. Would you support this?
Well, I think at least this is a interesting idea, but in my mind, they are totally breaking law by interfering in or taking Crimea by force.
I think we all understand that,
Yeah.
but an authoritative opinion of the principal
Yeah,
body of
this is a way to
international
do it. I am not going to say I'm against it.
It certainly provide a better basis for blocking the Bosphorus.
Well, yes, you will get a political answer now. I'm open-minded to it.
Good, thank you.
Well,
Okay.
I would like to thank Mr. Minister that you have found time to come here and join us and to come over the weekend to Ukraine. We really appreciate it. We know that it's a long flight from Reykjavik to Kiev, so it's great that you could come, and we wish you a pleasant stay here. It's a sunny day here, and it's pretty warm.
Yes, thank you.
Enjoy.
It's a
Okay, thank
much
you.
better weather than in Reykjavik.
Thank you.